If you don't know what's going on in this image, you probably should. It is just an embedded video with this woman who some of you recognize with the caption, "Tariffs or this?" Tariffs. Here's another post embedding the same video saying, "Is this the Longhouse?" If that word is nonsense to you, and it will be to most of you, one, I envy you, but two, you are kind of out of the loop on something that is happening behind the scenes. The clip these guys are embedding is a video that was posted almost a year ago of some women doing a TikTok trend.
Gen Z boss enemy.
And that video has been an absolute obsession among right-wing anti-feminist accounts online. When Elon Musk came along and started making his cuts in the government, they posted this video saying, yes, finally, it will put a stop to this. When Donald Trump announced his tariffs on every country in the world, they said, yes, finally, he's fighting back against this. He's fighting back against the Longhouse. If you don't understand this, you are not going to understand how young men are going to be voting for the next few decades. I had to do a whole bunch of reading on the subject because I wrote a book in which a character is immersed in these beliefs. The belief among these extremely online men's rights types is that our old system of masculine values has been replaced with what they call the Longhouse. It is a proverbial communal house where everyone has lost their privacy in exchange for comfort. And that in such spaces, it is women who make the rules. And so everything about the culture and how disputes are resolved is all done the feminine way. So the theory goes is that the way men resolve disputes is through direct confrontation or even physical violence. But women enforce rules through things like social isolation or reputational harm, gossip, and rumors. They may not inflict physical violence, but they will cut you off from resources and your social network, so you still feel physical harms from it. And in modern corporate environments, compliance officers and HR reps are mostly women. So the reason they had this incredibly visceral response to this Gen Z boss anonymity TikTok dance is that they believe this is the oppressor class. This is related to that. If you have Netflix, you've probably seen them heavily promoting a show called Adolescence. The plot is that a 13-year-old boy is accused of killing a girl in his class, and then I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say that they quickly find out that he had kind of fallen down a rabbit hole of these right-wing influencers. He perceived that this female classmate of his had humiliated him online. She was going into the comments of his Instagram posts. So there's that dynamic that he perceives that she is attacking him in the feminine way by going behind his back and attacking his reputation, but then he struck back in the masculine way with physical force. But there's another layer to this that they were sure to include and is incredibly important. In the show, the father of the accused killer had a successful business doing manual labor. He's a plumber. And he was a former athlete. He was a big masculine dude, and his son is not equipped to do any of that stuff. So the son perceives correctly that the father has always been embarrassed by him. So throughout the show, you have these completely baffled parents saying, this kid had no criminal record, no history of getting in trouble. He was never abused. He has no psychological problems. We raised him in a comfortable home, in a nice neighborhood, at a nice school. How did this happen? Because they could not grasp that for some men and boys, if they perceive that they are being looked down on and humiliated, they would burn the world down to make that go away. And the theory is that his anxiety and depression is tied to a loss of masculinity across generations. Thus, the belief that we need the tariffs to bring back this kind of work. And those of you out there who have read my totally unrelated book are saying, oh, that's exactly the same thing. That's Abbott and that's Hunter. That this pressure cooker of grievance that guys like him are in is the black box mentioned in the title. Because the premise is not that young men like this do not have any legitimate grievance with the world. Everybody has some legitimate grievances. It's that when you spend 12 hours a day glued to a screen having those grievances reinforced continually, you lose all sense of perspective. To the point that you can watch a goofy little video like this and see it as a sign of the apocalypse.
Itty bitty cheese in a bomb! Itty bitty cheese in a bomb!